everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Allison and this is the Alex Syberia Designs Christmas in July video hop and giveaway. There are 3 gift cards that will be given away in this hop, so make sure that you leave comments on every stop along the hop. All details and all supplies will be linked below in the description, as well as the next person in the hop, which is Ardith. So let's get going on these cards. These are the products we're going to be using. We're going to be using the Christmas Sentiments stamps and die set. And I love how there are matching dies for all these sentiments, even the little ones. And on the back of the package, you can see what all the sentiments look like. We're going to be using the Jingle Bell Joy die set. I love this set. And I am loving these turquoise dies. And there you see a picture of what you can do with this set. This is the Pretty Bows die set, which works great with those bells. And last but not least is the Sparkly Flakes cover die. So this is what we're going to be starting with, this cover die. So here it is out of the package. And we are just going to do simple die cutting with it first. I have this purple sheet of paper, and I'm going to put it in my die cutting machine at an angle. This just helps not get too much warping in your plates. And we're going to see what it looks like. So here's what it looks like die cut. Beautiful, right? You could just stop here, but we're not going to stop here. We're going to take it a little bit further. I'm putting it back in the die, and you can feel around and it kind of snaps into position. And I'm going to emboss this now. So I'm following the instructions on my machine. I'm using my Platinum 6, and I put the rubber mat on and the adapter plate. This is the universal plate system that I'm using. So again, just following instructions for embossing. And now we're going to see what we get with this. Now, it does make a big difference in person. It's hard to see on screen, so I'm going to put this comparison. And you can see it just really enhances everything about the design in the die. It looks great, just die cut, don't get me wrong, but I love it embossed. But we're not going to stop there. Now we're going to use this die in the glimmer machine. And yes, you can use regular dies to hot foil with. So I'm placing a large sheet of gold foil over my die, and it's actually bigger than the die. I'm taking that same piece of paper that's already embossed, and I'm going to click it into position. And again, you can feel it when it gets into position with the die. I wasn't doing a very good job here, but you can see my thumbs now. Now it's clicked into place. You can see it's not moving. So then you know it's in the same position it's been when it was die cut and embossed. So I'm just going to tape it in position, but I'm actually going to trim off some of the excess foil first. And now we're just going to put it on our hot foil machine just like we would any hot foil plate. We're going to put the die down, face down, and we're going to hit the timer and put the shims on top. And I'm going to fast forward to the point where the green light tells me it's time to go, and I am going to take this to my die cutting machine. And I'm going to run it through the die cutting machine slowly, just one pass. And now we're going to see what we get. So I know it looks like I should be burning myself, but all right, so you can see that it did something. You can see the design through the foil, so I know that it did something. So let's peel this off and see what we got. Pretty cool. I'm going to zoom in here in a second. So you can see even along the edges there's foil, which I think is kind of cool. I didn't mean to do that. But you can also see that there's some overfoiling, which again, I wasn't going for perfection with this, but you'll see what you can do with overfoiling. I'm just taking an old paintbrush, and you can just run your brush over it, and you see how it took off all that excess foil. Now you can also use an eraser. I'm coming in with my Mono Sand eraser, And let's look at that little second little sparkle there. And we'll see how it takes that off. So it's really easy to remove overfoiling. And remember, this is not a hot foil plate, so you're not going to get perfect results. And it also depends on how thick your paper is, what shims you used in your hot foil sandwich. Lots of factors. So here's a green sheet of paper, and you can see it didn't get as much overfoiling. Again, every paper is different. This was a different color foil. That also matters. And here we'll look at that third little burst, and you can see how I just easily removed that overfoiling. So now that I've brushed all that foil off, I'm just going to use this big brush to sweep it off. I don't know that Tonic Studios makes this anymore. You can use a paper towel, you can use a towel, any brush. I just wanted to get all the excess little foil bits off of my sheets of paper. And so here's what we have. And I really love them. So we're gonna do a before and after now. On the left was the die cut and embossed. And now on the right is everything. Die cut, embossed, foiled. Big difference, right? So that purple piece of paper we're actually going to use for a tag. We're going to use this green for the card. And now I'm using some of the foliage from the Jingle Bell Joy set. And I didn't really have the green colors of cardstock that I wanted, so I'm just going to use ink to color it. And I had just grabbed a few green inks because I didn't know which ones I wanted. Now we're going to make the bells, and I'm using this metallic cardstock from Tim Holtz. It's craft paper, so if you sand it, you can get down to the craft cardstock. Now I get a little weird about dies sometimes. I'm thinking to myself, the inside of the bell would kind of be scuffed up because you ring the bell, it kind of scratches the inside of the bell. I know, I'm weird, but I decided to sand it. And I'm just using this little sanding thing. I think I got it in a Gamsol kit. I will link something similar below. And I'm just going to lightly scuff it up. I don't need it to look like the Liberty Bell. I don't need it scuffed a lot. And really, do you need to do this? No, I am just a little weird about details like this sometimes, and I just wanted to scuff up the interior of my bells. So now you can see what it looks like when you put the top layer on, and now we can assemble the bells. So I'm putting the little piece, and that little teeny piece is what's responsible for creating all those scuffs inside the bell, right? And that little piece is made from a darker color of that metallic cardstock from Tim Holtz. So for placing the top of the bell on to the bottom, I chose to use some thin foam squares, and I cut some slivers to put in the very bottom corners. And now I'm just going to attach this to the bottom of the bell. And that will be it for my bells. And so there you go, both bells. So now we can go on to assembling. So first what I do is I kind of map out what I want. I put the foliage on, I play around with it for I don't know how long, a long time. And then sometimes I'll take a picture, and so I can refer back to it when I start gluing. And I always glue from the bottom up. And then I completely ignore the picture I took, and I end up putting probably way too much foliage. That's why I should always consult my picture, but then I get carried away. But here I am figuring out how I want to attach the bell, and I've decided, because the top of it's going on all that foliage, I'm going to put some thin foam squares on the bottom, and then I can glue that in place. And really, it's just a lot of playing around with positioning, and there's nothing difficult about it. You can make it as difficult as you want. I sometimes, when it comes to foliage, like I said, I sometimes go overboard, but I love Christmas foliage, so what can you do? All right, here I am now coming in with some brown ink and this little dauber, which is really great for just inking up the edges of die cuts. And you'll see the difference, how that really kind of added a little bit of interest and dimension to that holly. So now I am just figuring out how I want to attach the holly to the top of the bell. And then I will glue one of the pretty bows on top. There are 2 sizes of bows in that pretty bows set. So I'm obviously using the larger bow for the larger bell and the smaller bow for the smaller bell. So now I am deciding, you know what, I wish I had inked up the edges of these little pine branches, but it's never too late. I'm just gently coming in with my dauber again. And again, this just adds more dimension and interest, but you don't need to do this. And now I'm creating the illusion of a kind of a third bell off to the side. So I'm just arranging more foliage around my sentiment. And I decided I wanted to bring more white into the card because that white sentiment just seemed a little too bright for me without any other white on the card. So I am attaching it with foam tape, and I'm even putting glue on the back of my foam tape. That just gives me some wiggle room while I attach my sentiment. And I love this set of sentiments, by the way. There's so many sentiments, and I love all the different shapes and the matching dies. And guess what? This card is finally done. I'm just clipping off some little foliage that was bothering me. And there we go. I am really happy with how this card turned out. I think these products work so well together. And here is the sweet little tag that I made with that other piece of paper that we had embossed and foiled. I used the same foliage and another stamp from that set. This time I heat embossed it with gold embossing powder. And here they are next to each other. And again, I just love them both. Thank you so much for visiting my channel today. Make sure you leave a comment for your chance at one of those gift cards. And make sure you look below for the link to Ardith. She is next in line in the hop. I would really love it if you subscribe to my channel. And also down in the description below, you'll find a link to the Alex Syberia Designs channel. You should definitely subscribe to them as well. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.